Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the official campaign launch for Councilmember Vicente Sarmiento and his run for Santa Ana Mayor. We are thrilled to have close friends and family here at the home of Patrick and Kelly. Thank you so much for hosting us in this momentous occasion. One of the goals for today is to get people to start signing up to volunteer, to request a lawn sign, and or to give a donation. However small or big, it all helps drive this campaign and ensure success on Election Day. Please visit our campaign website at www.sarmientoformayor.com, and you can register to volunteer, make phone calls, or to make a donation. We also welcome your comments on Zoom and Facebook, and we will be giving shout outs throughout the event. And thank you for joining us today. I'd like to introduce Councilmember Sarmiento's wife, Ava Casas Sarmiento.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, let's say thank you. Thank you for everyone who is joining us online, and thank you for all the friends and family that we have here today. I know it's not easy these days to gather, but we are doing it. We're launching this campaign. Yay! Like Carlos said, I am Ava Casas Sarmiento, and Vicente Sarmiento, councilman, is my husband. And I want to tell you a little bit about who my candidate for Santa Ana mayor is. You've seen my face covering. It is my husband. In these very uncertain and troubling times, I want to tell you a little bit about Vicente, my husband, so that you can be more certain, have all the information that you need about who you're voting for. Many of you are joining virtually and here because you know him. You may know the wonderful work he's done in the community, but I want you to know him, the man I married. We have been married for 25 years. I have known him since I was a baby. Way over 30 years ago. We were college sweethearts. We met at the University of California at Berkeley. He was a junior, I was a sophomore, and when I met him, I had already been at Cal for 2 years. He was a transfer student. He had come from Cal State Fullerton and arrived at Berkeley. I met him, and aside from his striking good looks, I have to say I am superficial. I did look at that first, but there was two other qualities that attracted me to him and have kept me by his side for over 25 years. What are those two qualities? I want you to know. One is his devotion to family. When I met him, unlike other people, other students, we were young. We weren't thinking of family when we were students at Cal. We were thinking about ourselves, the people we were meeting. He talked to me about his family. He told me his story. His parents, like my parents, were immigrants. His family, like my family, I grew up in the East Los Angeles area, which is a low-income community with Latinos who are struggling to make it here in America. He grew up in Santa Ana, which is very much like East LA. So we had another thing in common. He loved his mom. He loved his father. He loved being Bolivian. He wasn't Mexican like me. I was born in Mexico, but grew up here in the United States. I did not know anyone from South America except one other person, and that had been my AP calculus teacher in high school, Garfield High School, from Stand and Deliver. I don't know how many of you know him. He was my calculus teacher. He was the only other Bolivian that I had met before I met Vince. Guess what? Another Bolivian at UC Berkeley came my way, and I have stuck with Bolivians my entire life. Family, like I said, was one thing that struck me. The other thing that struck me about him was his commitment to social justice. Lots of other students there at Cal. Cal is a campus with a lot of activism, but a lot of us Latinos were struggling just to make it academically. He was thriving academically, and he was making time for social justice issues. He walked Delano with Cesar Chavez. He protested and demanded divestment from apartheid. So that's all the things that I was doing. I was working to recruit low-income kids to go to college. He was doing the same. He was recruiting on campus at Cal students. We had a lot in common. So guess what? Even way back then, I believed in him, and I ran his campaign, and he was a senator, a student body senator at Berkeley, and he helped push forward an ethnic studies requirement at UC Berkeley. I told you, he's a family man, and he's committed to social justice. When we were in law school, again, he was in the admissions, reviewing applications for incoming students, making sure that law school at UCLA, where he attended, was a diverse law school. Then we did law school together. We did undergrad together. Now we're working together. And when we got married, again, family called him, and we came to Santa Ana. His dad got sick, and he asked me. We were newly married, just 3 months into marriage, when his father got sick. And he said, Eva, please join me, help me be with my family. And he came back to Santa Ana to be with his father, to be with his family, to run the family business when his dad was sick. And we have built our roots here. We married, we live here, we have raised our family in Santa Ana. We are invested personally in Santa Ana. We love Santa Ana. Like I told you, I grew up in East Los Angeles. East Los Angeles is, I feel at home here in Santa Ana. I may not feel at home in the rest of Orange County. It's very different from where I grew up. But Santa Ana, the people, the heart of Santa Ana, I love. And Vince has worked hard to make Santa Ana better. And I know he has the experience of over 12 years of being your councilman. He has a proven history of leadership. I hope you have a little bit more of a window into who Vince is. We have 2 kids. One of our kids is away in Boston working at a medical center. He's working in the labs, running blood and tests on people. He's one of my heroes because of the work he's doing. My other son is going to be a senior. He's going to be a senior at Hector Godinez Fundamental School here in Santa Ana. We don't know what the future holds for him, but we're confident because we know that our people are strong here in Santa Ana. Our school district, our students, our parents, our teachers will make sure that whatever hardships we face, we will give our kids the best education we can. And our son, as a senior, I know will thrive. And Vince will make sure that our education and all our services here in Santa Ana are strong. So please, I ask for your vote. You have somebody with heart, with compassion, and experience in Vince. Thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you.
For our next speaker, we will have, let me introduce you to Erika Robles.
Ready? Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Erika Robles y soy la fundadora de United Across Borders y estoy compartiendo ustedes esta noche mi experiencia conociendo al señor Sarmiento. Especialmente cuenta con mi voto porque se me hace una persona con una transparencia muy clara. Lo conozco de hace mucho tiempo y es una persona que he contado con él. Somos un grupo también de mujeres llamadas las Adelitas en Acción, que están trabajando para la comunidad y él nos ha apoyado mucho. Es por eso que yo le ofrezco mi voto, porque siento que es una persona en la que se puede confiar con él, es una persona que nos va a poder ayudar para tener una comunidad más fuerte y más sólida. Soy inmigrante, llegué a este país hace 32 años y también puedo decir que Estados Unidos ya es parte de mí. Y teniendo personas como el señor Sarmiento al frente como alcalde, va a ser muy importante, porque son personas con las que nos podemos acercar y sabemos que vamos a contar con esa ayuda que tenemos, que necesitamos. Lo apoya no solamente Estados Unidos, lo apoya también un grupo de líderes que son de Puebla, Morelos, Michoacán. Somos hispanos que queremos un cambio y siento que lo vamos a tener con el señor Sarmiento. Entonces yo los invito a que de verdad votemos por alguien que va a hacer el cambio y que va a estar ahí para cuando necesitemos algo, porque el señor Sarmiento está dado a la comunidad y sé que vamos a contar con él. Por favor, apóyenos a todos los que quieran participar en su campaña también. Son bienvenidos para que juntos logremos un cambio a la comunidad. Gracias.
Gracias, Erika. For our next speaker, let me introduce to you Carlos Perea.
Perfect. Okay. So thank you, everyone. And my name is Carlos Perea. A committee member for the Measure X Oversight Committee in the City of Santa Ana. But I'm also the first undocumented person to be appointed as a commissioner. And yes, Vicente Sarmiento appointed me as a first undocumented commissioner in the City of Santa Ana, and that is something that we have to be proud of. And let me tell you why. In the City of Santa Ana, we have one of the most immigrant communities, not only in Orange County, not only in the state, but also in the nation. We also have one of the youngest cities in the nation. But unfortunately, we have entrenched power for the last 25 years with the current mayor that we have. And the current mayor does not care about our communities. Our current mayor needs to be out in November. Now, I had the pleasure to work alongside Vicente Sarmiento to ensure that our immigrant community in Santa Ana is not only respected, uplifted, but also that has a place of belonging, and that Sarmiento has ensured that not only our community is protected from deportations by helping us establish a city that is a sanctuary city, but also has walked the walk. In the last 3 years, the City of Santa Ana has pioneered the first immigrant legal defense fund in Orange County that provides our communities with deportation and defense, and protecting them also from ensuring that they are out of detention. Now, it hasn't been easy. Many in the current council do not want to see this program continue, even though most of them identify with our community, and even though most of them will tell you, hey, they stand with the remaining community, but they don't. Sarmiento has, and Sarmiento has fought really hard every year, year after year, to ensure that our immigrant communities are at the center of decisions that happen in this city. Now, what's at stake for November? One, like I mentioned before, for the first time in 25 years, we're going to be able to vote for a new mayor, a new direction, a new vision for the City of Santa Ana. And we have entrenched power that will come and will run their candidates and will say, hey, we stand with you in the community. But that is not true. Sarmiento is going to have an uphill battle, and it is going to be up to the people of Santa Ana to stand up and say, no more. We want a candidate, a mayor that will stand with not only our immigrant community, but everyone in Santa Ana. We need a mayor that will say no to special interests. We also need a mayor that will be transparent with you and that will let you know when things are not possible, how we can make it possible together. And let me tell you with something that in the last 12 years working with Vicente Sarmiento, that's something that I admire about him, is his humbleness. Now, Sarmiento will not tell you all his accomplishments or what he has done for the City of Santa Ana. But as someone, as a community activist, as an advocate, as an immigrant rights advocate, I have seen him work in the halls of City Hall to ensure that our communities the needs of our communities, the programs that are important, not only for the children of Santa Ana, for the youth of Santa Ana, for parents, are continued and that are advocated for. So I have seen for the last 5 years, Councilmember Sarmiento push forward and stand up. And even when sometimes he's the lone sole voice in the council, he will not hesitate to say, I stand with our communities. So again, this campaign is not just about Sarmiento. This campaign is about the future of Santa Ana. And we need a candidate, a mayoral candidate that will stand with the people of Santa Ana. And therefore, I'm proud and I have my full confidence in Councilmember Sarmiento in becoming the next mayor of the city of Santa Ana. Thank you.
For our next speaker, I'd like to introduce Ava Briseno.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Great. My name is Ava Briseno, and I'm co-president of Unite Here Local 11, a union representing over 32,000 workers in Orange County, Los Angeles, and Arizona. And I'm also the chairwoman of the Democratic Party of Orange County and recently elected as Democratic National Committee to serve you. I'm proud to stand with Vicente today as he announces his campaign for mayor to bring real progressive change to the city of Santa Ana. Vicente Sarmiento is the priority race for the Democratic Party. I also would like to take a moment to recognize other Democratic leaders on this call that I see. Melissa Fox, Irvine City Councilwoman and candidate for Assembly District 68. Tai Viet Phan, Democratic Party endorsed candidate for Santa Ana Ward Area 1. Walter Muneton, Democratic Party endorsed candidate for Garden Grove Unified School District Trustee Area 3, and he currently serves in that capacity. You know, people see a strong leader in Vicente Sarmiento. He connects people and takes genuine interest in their needs. He starts and works from a place of compassion. Vicente has integrity and honesty that you can see no matter who you are. He stands up for workers, for undocumented residents, for people experiencing homelessness. And he can easily just connect with business attorneys, business owners, attorneys, and other elected officials. He is perfectly positioned to bring all these voices together and serve everyone as mayor. Vicente and I have had a strong connection. He is the first person I call when I have an issue in Santa Ana because he's resourceful and he finds solutions. He's answered my call for dozens of legal volunteers and recruited attorneys to help complete citizenship applications to naturalize our communities. You know, when we established the Women's March in Santa Ana, he was there to open doors and make sure our preparations went smooth. He's been a champion for workers' rights and immigrants' rights. When workers have called to picket on labor disputes, he's answered our calls. In my role as the chair of the Democratic Party, I've seen Vicente take on a leadership role with other elected officials around the county. Truly, I've never heard him say no to any request. And so that's what draws me to his leadership, because he has what some of us call a si se puede attitude. So why is it important to elect Vicente Sarmiento? Orange County is changing. Democrats are taking their place in this county proudly, and Vicente embodies that change. After 20 years plus under the same mayor, Santa Ana desperately needs a new leadership. After decades of police officers associations stranglehold on the city's budget and ethics, Santa Ana desperately needs strong leadership. We all know that leadership means bringing others up with you. I have personally witnessed Vicente's commitment to mentoring and developing talented leaders alongside him. This is exactly what Santaneros deserve in a mayor. Vicente is ready to lead and bring change from day one. With Sarmiento as mayor, we will bring bold and progressive leadership to Santa Ana. But we know that this is not going to be easy. And Carlos said that. You know, we need tons of volunteers hours and tons of money. That's what it's going to take for us to demonstrate to the community the quality of candidate that we have. So for those of you who are present with Vicente, and all of those who are present or, you know, either on Zoom, Facebook, or YouTube, you can sign up to volunteer. We're going to be dropping the link to the sign up with various chats so you can sign up to be part of the movement we're building for a better Santa Ana. This campaign is going to be won with people power. This campaign will be won with people power. If you thought that you would only give a certain number of hours and days of volunteering in this campaign, well, I'm going to ask you to really be thoughtful about that, because in order for us to win, it's going to take double that commitment. We need your strength. We need you to commit to speak to voters around Santa Ana. We have a prime opportunity to demonstrate what an amazing leader we have in Vicente. But we also know it costs money. We know that in order to get that message out and to get deep into the community, into our immigrant communities with people that maybe have not voted in the past, it's going to take effort and money in order to get this done. And I know it's tough because we are struggling with COVID and many other situations. But I also know that it's tough to continue to have a Santa Ana that is not representative of the people, and we will only have that with Vicente. So what I'm going to ask you to do is that you know, if you already made a donation, I'm going to ask you to not only go deep, you know, in your pockets one more time. I'm going to ask you to do that 2 more times, 3 more times. It's going to take that effort for us to really bring about change. Lo bueno cuesta, and we all know that. So I'm going to ask everybody here for us to start off today. And I know that Vicente has built a lot of leaders and a lot of great will amongst people who are on the call, amongst folks who are in person, and people on Facebook. And so I'm going to ask you to please make a commitment today to max out to Vicente's campaign. And so do we have anyone, whether in person or in Zoom, that will commit to max out at $1,000? And I'm going to ask for help because I can't see who is out there. But I would really, really love to hear if you are willing to commit to $1,000 max. So if you're out there and you know Arturo Cisneros. Arturo Cisneros, thank you so much. He is in for $1,000. I really want to thank you. We are investing in our future. It takes resources and efforts to be able to build on that. I think about people that don't have a roof over their heads right now and undocumented workers who will only be served in the right way if we have Vicente as mayor of our city of Santa Ana. So I'm going to ask others, are you able to make a donation today? Isabel gave $1,000 about an hour ago. Gracias, Isabel Rivera. Your leadership is very needed right now for us to move this campaign forward. So I'd like to ask if we can have 5 of you commit to $50. Please, if you can commit to $50, please chat your name in, or if folks are in person, if there are any $50 folks, we would love to take you. Please chat in if we can get you to do a $50 donation. Anyone, all of you, you know, oh my goodness. Thank you, Gabriela Saucedo, $250. I really want to thank you for that. Dennis, thank you for your $99. Melissa Fox, I love you, $100. We are all going to do this together. So I'm going to now ask, we need 20 people Thank you, Claire, so much for your $100. You're amazing. We need to get 20 people right now to give $25. Look, it's going to take all of us. Rosaura, muchas gracias. Thank you. It takes a village. It really does. And
it really does take a village, and Vince is the man. And I don't know how to type it in, but $1,000.
From who? Who are you?
I'm Roman, but it's going to come from Kevin Watson.
Kevin Watson, thank you. And Roman, thank you. $1,000. Please, organizers, make sure that we get that. David Benavides, $250. Yes, this is a very deserving campaign. This is a very deserving campaign. So we've got an opportunity. Dale, thank you so much. That is amazing. $1,000. We need a few more folks to please come forward. Look, this is our moment. We're not going to have time later to say, I wish I would have. I wish I could have. Well, look, sacrifices is what gets us to really win great leadership. So we ask you to stand up now. $25, the next 20 people, please. You can type it in. Thank you so much from son Adam Peña. Thank you, $50. That's amazing. Michelle, you're an angel. $250 from Michelle Martinez, and Ava Briseno, $100. Carmina Sarmiento, another $100. Well, look, I think this is incredible. Carlos and Tracy La, $50. Thank you so much. And you see, we have another Teresa Cisneros in for $1,000. And then Laura, $25. Thank you so much. This is truly, truly amazing. I know that along the way, he's won the hearts and minds of all of us. And that's why, we understand that he will lead in the right way. Well, look, I really want to thank everyone for participating. I ask you to dig deep, to continue writing in your names with your donation and your pledge. But I want to, now give the opportunity for you to hear from Vicente Sarmiento, in his own words, how he's going to help us move forward in this campaign and win and bring his leadership. And so now it's my distinct pleasure to introduce you to the future mayor of Santana, Vicente Sarmiento.
Gracias, Ada, por esa introducción tan linda, tan bella. Thank you so much, Ada, for that introduction. I learned that less is more. So when people say nice things about you and people give you money, you should just say thank you and leave the stage, because you can only muck things up at that point. But I do want to just be here and let you know that look, I'm humbled, I'm touched. I want to thank first of all, Ada, for that beautiful introduction. Thank you, Ada. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for everything you've done for Orange County, for leading us. You've really turned the page on where we are as a community, as a progressive community. You flipped all 6 congressional seats. They're all Democrat. And that's something for somebody who's lived here my entire life, I never thought I'd live to see. So gracias, Ada. Gracias por tu amistad, por tu confianza, por tu fe, pero más que nada tu amistad. So thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for everything you've done for me personally. I want to give a shout out to our staff that's here because, again, we're socially distanced. We're far apart. We're in a big backyard. And we want to thank our host here, Patrick Irrazabal, and his beautiful wife, Kelly. Thank you guys for letting us be here. We've got tons of space, man. We can certainly, be around each other safely with masks and be safe with one another. But I want to give a shout out to our team, our crew that's here. So Jose Gloria, thank you, brother. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Carlos Valenzuela, who was our MC and has been with me from the very beginning. My nephew, somebody who I love. He's been my paralegal, but he does this on the side and he's really good at it. So I'm not going to let him go. Thank you, Carlos. Macaria Salazar, who's here, and she's been with me as well. I think I met her when she was 15, a student at middle college. She's been with the team Sarmiento since then. And my new and very, very good friends from Suavecito, the Suavecito team. Look, Ken, Tony, Aaron, thank you, brothers. You guys are amazing. You guys represent Santa Ana, man. So that's who we all are. And finally, on the inner circle here, I want to say thank you to my prima Sandra and her husband Victor. Thank you guys. You guys are great. We appreciate you. And we just want to make sure that you all know how much we love and respect you, and thank you for everything, because really this is an effort that we're trying to do to make sure that the community knows what we're doing, and you guys facilitate that. I'm sort of just a vessel for that. So, look, I want to thank everybody who spoke as well. And, I want to thank Carlos Perea, who I just, I saw grow up before my eyes. He came as a young person to the city council and came and spoke about what he wants to see in his city. And now he's a commissioner, and now he's a voice of public policy and a progressive public policy. So I'm so proud to have him as a commissioner of mine that works with me very closely. I want to thank, Erika Robles. She was much too humble. She didn't tell you that she just was with her team at United Across Borders Foundation, feeding 750 folks. And that's how we met. We met, giving food away, making sure that people have, food and have, enough to get through the week. So Erika, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for doing what you do. Los quiero mucho a las Adelitas. Y yo sé que está Gaby y Nacho escuchándonos, creo, me imagino, desde Saguayo, o no también, que viva Saguayo. So, look, I've gotten to know this city because it's a city that I grew up in. I know it from Delhi, to Madison Park, to Saddleback View, to Floral Park, where we are today. It's a city that I've loved as a child. It's a city, the streets that I've walked as a child. I've ridden my bicycle through here, gone to John Muir, Sierra, Willard. And, look, I'm back home, just full circle. So, it has been quite the ride, and it's been amazing. So everybody who's been part of my life, who've helped me, I just want to let you know, you helped form who I am today. And, folks on Mini, shout out to Doña Soledad, shout out to Doña Cata, Leonel Velasquez, Doña Carmen, Doña Rosa, Desi Reyes out in my neighborhood in Saddleback View. Look, I could go on and on. Andre Roberson, Power of One Foundation. I know he's been a big believer. He introduced me to Erika, and we've been friends ever since. Fabio with Federación Michoacana, Abel y Betty Torres with Rumores. And, Arturo Saucedo, who's here. Arturo, gracias por siempre estar con nosotros. California Youth Soccer. He's an amazing friend. He's been with the team from the very beginning. And, look, people who are online right now, who you should know, this is a type of diverse community we have. We have people from the Sikh Center of Orange County that's in Santa Ana, also giving food on weekends. And they're amazing. Sanand and Bandana, thank you for you guys being on the team. Mike Shalan, Bilal Dalati from the Islamic Center. And we had a judge, we had our friend Judge Wynn and his beautiful wife Bang, who were supposed to speak. Unfortunately, we just had a bad connection, but I just want to tell him I love him. He's, he's been a friend for as long as I've been on the council. He actually swore my wife and our nephew when he passed the bar exam. So he's a dear friend. He's made my connections to the Vietnamese temples, and we've been able to do some really good things for the community because they're just amazing places. And to Marilyn Urquiza, que está aquí, que es una amiga con SCIU. Gracias, Marilyn, por estar aquí y siempre estar con los trabajadores y la familia aquí de SCIU en Santana. Gracias. So, so here it is. Here we are. What brought us here, right? The one thing I know that I've been told, and here's, I always take it as constructive criticism. They're like, Vince, man, you are very professional. You're kind of standoffish. You're a little cardboardish, kind of like these cutouts back here. And that's what I want to try to address today and work on. And, just let you know, look, there's a real person. And I think my wife, who spoke so eloquently, and she's my secret weapon. She's been my campaign manager and my advisor way back to college. And, we've never lost a race, right, Ev? So and we don't plan on losing any others. So she was my campaign manager for my first college Senate campaign at Berkeley. And she's been somebody who I bounced ideas off of, learned. She actually would probably be a better candidate than I would, because she is just so beautiful in the way she speaks, in the way she presents, and her heart. And so I love you, Eva. Thank you for letting me do what I do and helping the city that I love, because I can't do it without you. She forgot to mention my daughter, though. So she got a little nervous when she was speaking to you. So let me give a shout out to my daughter, Dalia, who is 14, going to be 15 very soon. She's going to have her quinceañera. But look, there are, Adrian, who's out in Boston working at Tufts Medical Center, being on the front lines, with folks trying to provide healthcare to people and trying to keep people safe. He's my hero, right? He's doing something that he could be at home, but he's doing the work that we all value. Diego, my son, who's going to be a senior. Look, we still don't know what his future is going to be like, but I feel bad because I know he was set on starting for the Godinez High varsity basketball team. And man, that was one thing I've been waiting for because I've been working on his skills. I'm certainly not tall enough, but he got the height in the family. So I was going to live vicariously through him on that basketball court. But we don't know whether they're going to go back. And he's been a good sport and he's been hanging in there. But I love my kids. I love Dalia, who's my debater. And look, she challenges me on everything, fact checks everything I say. And that's just her way. I see a little of her mom in her. And so, I just want to thank them for being patient with me and allowing me to do what I do. I had an interesting conversation a couple of days ago with my mom, who's watching. Hi, Mom. ¿Cómo estás? Desde lejos, un abrazo. She told me that 55 years ago, almost to the day, we arrived here in Santa Ana. And, so it was, Santa Ana was sort of our Ellis Island. And it was our port of entry. And, we came here. My dad came a year before we arrived. I came when I was a year old. So I just told you my age. But, we never left. We planted roots down here. And she was reminding me our dream was, or the plan was, come here for a couple of years and then go back. Very, very common story and very familiar story to many of the immigrant families here in our city and in our country. So, what they did with very humble beginnings is bring my two sisters and I, my sister Daisy, who I know is watching. Thank you, Daisy. I love you. My sister Vicky. They sent us all three to college, and two of us to law school. And I think, I was on the short end of that because my sister Vicky is an excellent, brilliant attorney. And she does civil rights law. She's representing a very high profile case that you guys may know about. I think my wife Eva mentioned Stand and Deliver. One of the actresses in that movie was unfortunately killed, during a welfare check. She was an 85-pound, actress from living in South Pasadena. She had a mental illness, and unfortunately, things didn't go right. And those are the things that I think a lot of Santaneros and a lot of people are worried about, right? But my sister Vicky does social justice one case at a time, and that's how she brings, justice to families who've lost people and improves policy as it goes forward, because those cities that have made those mistakes are able to correct those. And I forgot to mention somebody who I'm looking at right now, and I'm glad she's here. Jessie Lopez. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing everything that you're doing. I think you're going to be the next council member here in this ward, right? So we're in your ward, I think. So thank you for having us in your future ward. But, I do want to tell you, as Jessie, she was born and raised. I came here as a 1-year-old. The city adopted me. And as Eva was telling you, I'm from Bolivia. I was born there. But look, I was born when I came when I was a year old. So my memories of Bolivia are very remote. It's a very far place, but I love it because my parents cultivated the culture in me, and I never forgot. And I've always tried to teach my kids the same thing: how to speak Spanish, how to be respectful of who they are, and to know their beginnings so they don't forget. But I think they've got the best of three worlds, right? They've got the Bolivian side from me, the Mexican side from my wife, who's from Jerez, Zacatecas. So shout out to Jerez, and they're Americans. they are Americans. And, they're, they look very ethnic. They look very Bolivian, very Mexican, but they are American because that's what the face of our country is. That's who we are. And so I love them, and I do everything I can to make sure that their experience is a good one. I grew up in Santa Ana when it was a very different place. I used to hang out at the skate ranch, Fashion Square, and I used to work at Gemco. What are those places now? The Discovery Cube, Main Place, and Target. So it was a very different world when we arrived. Just to let you know, we were the only Spanish-speaking family in our entire neighborhood. That's how demographically different we were. But look, the city has changed. The city is very different. I've had my struggles because I wasn't the best student. So that's something I did want to let you all know, is that my path hasn't been linear. When I went off to Fullerton, I was asked, I was invited to leave because I had 2 consecutive semesters on probation. And that's how I struggled as a student. And that's how I want you to know that my story is probably very similar to many other stories, because I had to learn how to learn, right? I had to learn how to manage time, how to organize, how to do things that I didn't learn as a young person. But once they taught me, once I realized, hey, this is something I can do. And I want to, thank this woman in a program. Her name is Stephanie Ortiz, who is no longer with us. She passed away a few years ago, but she was a nun, and she used to work in what was called Educational Opportunity Program. And that was like the word for affirmative action that many campuses had. She sat me down and told me, hey, you are making a big mistake because you're not taking advantage of the opportunities that you've been given. And so she, gave me the hard speech that I needed to hear. As soon as I realized what I was missing, what I needed to do, how I, learned how to learn, I became an honor roll student and was on Dean's list for the next 4 semesters and was able to get accepted to Berkeley, and, had scholarship from the economics department there, got my BA there, was also a Chicano studies minor, because back then Berkeley had a minor in Chicano studies. So we predated some things. And as Eva was telling me and reminding me, we back then were fighting for divestiture. And that was because the university was investing in South Africa, which at that time was segregated. And so all those things, I think, formed who I am. And that's why I needed to tell you that story, because I didn't just appear here, right? And my path, again, wasn't linear, just like many of you. It took turns, it took twists, there were hardships, there were difficult moments, and yet we're all here together. And I have been privileged to represent you for these past 14 years as your council member. You gave me that honor back in 2007, and I've never forgotten. This is a place that I love. This is a place that you love, because I know I heard you and I see you. I saw all of you, especially those of you who, are young, who came out to our council meetings recently, and you've been coming for years saying, stop doing the same thing. And that's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing and expecting something different. And you all have taught me we need to reimagine what we're doing. And that's what I'm hoping we can do in this cycle, because it's the first time in 26 years that we're going to be able to elect a new mayor. But we also have the opportunity to elect 3 new council members and change the direction that this city is going in. And not everything that's being done is bad, but I think there's always room for improvement. And I think that's what we're hungry for. So you'll see some of my platform issues here, and I'll talk policy throughout this campaign, but I wanted you to get to know the story. It's your story. This isn't my story. This is your story. This is the immigrant story here in Santa Ana, right? We all share it. This is your campaign. I'm not doing this for me. I'm your voice. I'm your vessel. I'm going to be here to listen to you, because you are going to dictate what the city looks like. You're going to tell you're going to define who we are. And that's been one of the difficulties and the sadnesses that we've had in this city, is that people define us. We feel stigmatized because others tell us we're not smart enough. We're not intelligent enough. We're not hardworking enough. We're not American enough. All these different things that we've all heard over generations. It does hurt. And I finally see the hope when I see those faces come to the council meetings and they write and they speak to us and they tell us, We're done with that. We can embrace who we are. We should love who we are, love our culture, love what we want to do. And I'm with you. I'm all in. You know, I want to walk side by side with you on that journey. And I want to tell you that, you know, as my parents, you know, told me, education was the way, the great equalizer. I'm telling you, there is one way that is the great equalizer on getting social justice, on getting economic justice, environmental justice, and political decision-making. And that's voting. Because I've been in those rooms when people have said, don't count on those young folks. They're never going to show up to the polls. They're never going to vote. They only show up to scream and yell. Well, you know what? Change that. Change that narrative. This is your moment. This shouldn't, if you want to change this into a movement and not just an isolated moment, let this carry on into November. We have things that we can change from who's in the White House to who's in Sacramento representing us to who's representing you at home. And there is no more important a seat or a role than somebody who's going to represent us here at home. And look, all I can say is that, you know, I want us to take that journey together. I want to thank all of you for spending your Saturday evening with me because, look, I think I have a captive audience. We have not many places to go these days. So, you know, I'm glad that we were able to just be with one another and help with one another and see this thing through because I am going to need you. This is going to be a difficult race. This is going to be challenging. You know, my style is not to criticize others, but I'm in a field of very, very tough competitors. But I can tell you that I'm very different from the rest of the field, you know, and I'll leave that up to the voters because you've all have made good decisions in the past. And I know this cycle, you will be there. I'm trusting that. I'm relying on that. And I'm really, really going to double down on that. I'm not much of a gambler, but I'm going to double down on you and make sure that, you know, I can help you. I'm with you. And more than anything, look, you know, just want to tell you, we love this city together and we can see its future. We can define its destiny. I need you. You know, let me know how I can, you know, further your experience, further your dreams, because that's what I'm here for. But I just want to thank you for the time that you've allowed me to share with you and be in your house. You invited me into your house, and that's a big deal, and it's a big moment. And for everybody who's here, I want to thank everybody who came and gave me moral support, made me a little less stiff and a little bit more informal, I hope. But, you know, we will get to know each other even more in the next few months because this is going to be an irregular, unconventional cycle. But look, I think we'll be able to go ahead and, you know, get to know each other better. You'll get to know me better because, again, I think that, you know, we want to know who we are. Picking your next mayor is the most personal decision that you can make, right? You want to know who that person is, where they came from, what are they doing, what are their thoughts, what are their dreams. And so hopefully you've got a glimpse, and we pulled back the curtain a little bit on this one. But look, thank you again. Santana, stay safe. You know, we care about everybody, make sure that they're going to be healthy and strong, and we're going to be able to win this thing in November. So gracias a todos, que estén bien, protéjense, cuídense. Más que nada, les quiero invitar a mis hijos para que los conozcan en persona. Come on, you guys, I want them to see how good looking you are and what happened. And you became good looking despite your dad. This is my son, Diego. This is my son, Dalia. And you met my beautiful wife. Our son, Adrian, is out in Boston. Adrian, I know it's a little late over there. Thank you for hanging on and listening to us. We miss you. We love you. Thank you, Santana. Let's do this. Let's win this. All right. Gracias.